Welcome to the Building Web3 Podcast. Today I have two good friends. I've got Yann, he is the Accelerator Director, and I've got Alessio, he's the founder at HyperNest. So we'll direct this first question over to Alessio. Can you give us a brief background into yourself and what led you to found HyperNest?
First of all, thanks a lot for having me and having us. The reason why HyperNest was founded is because I believe that we need to build a more equitable financial system, a fair financial system, a system that is open and permissionless for everyone. And the best way to do that is, in my opinion, not helping one startup or creating one protocols, but creating a whole ecosystem that can potentially support this whole innovation and revolution. So this is the reason why HyperNest was born. And also on a personal level, there is a point in your life where you really need to do something that is meaningful. Otherwise, you don't have the energy to fight anymore every day. So this is my most meaningful project that I have done in my life, and I'm so excited to be part of this journey.
Yeah, and for people that are unfamiliar with HyperNest, like how would you describe it? Like what's the overall mission?
Yeah, HyperNest is an accelerator for startup that provide more than 60 mentors that are industry leaders that will help them across all their journey from MVP to the scaling phase. And this full support is focused only on decentralized finance. So we only help startups in the area of DeFi, is where our expertise lie and where we are more excited about. So everything that is inside the area of decentralized finance, including also real world assets, is our bread and butter, our cup of coffee, more on the Italian side, if we want. So in essence, HyperNest is an organization to support DeFi founders, pioneers that want to revolutionize the financial system.
Awesome. And then, passing this over to Yann, tell us a little bit about the Accelerator program. What are you guys doing in Q1 2025?
Yeah, just to start, I have to say that I'm not coming from the Web3 of DeFi space at the beginning, so I brought with me some experience from like traditional acceleration. And in what we are trying to build is that we are trying to provide the best support possible, evidently. We already had like 2 previous cohorts in 2023 and 2024, and we learned a lot. So we are trying to provide, well, let's start with all accelerator should provide. Like they should provide support, personalized support, with experts and mentors and a real program with workshops. So we are doing all of that. An accelerator should provide funding on its own as well. So we have a dedicated investment envelope that will provide funding to startups. That's basic. And after that, our strong suit is that we're providing a strong expertise on DeFi. And right now you can find, we'll talk about it later, I guess, but you can find a lot of accelerator, let's say, that will provide support on Web3 globally, but without a real expertise. So we are trying to really focus on our expertise and provide the best support possible, but we are adding some, let's say, classical acceleration things, like we're trying to build real companies. We are not trying to build only Web3 projects that won't be there in 2 years or 3 years from now. So that's our differentiation. We are trying to build real companies. Most of the accelerators are trying to make money.
So talk to us a little bit about the current iteration and how this differs from previous iterations of the Accelerator program.
Yeah, one of the important change is that previously we were doing like classical cohort system. So we had some application at the beginning of the year, and we were doing the acceleration program within 12 weeks, one time a year. And that will change starting in 2025. We are going to be like on a rolling basis application system. So startup can begin the program whenever they want to, whenever they need to. And that's really important thing for us because we want to provide them more freedom to choose what they want to work on. That doesn't mean we're not going to have like a real program with all the topics addressed, but that means that they will be able to choose whenever they want to do it and on which topics they want to focus the most. I mean, if they don't need to raise money, sometimes they don't need to. It's pretty rare, but sometimes we won't force them to like have a workshop on fundraising. That makes no sense. You know, most of the accelerator in the space, they're forcing you to do all the workshops like on week 1, week 2, week 3. You have to do that, and if you are not doing it, you're not like a good player in the accelerator. We are not. We don't want to do that. So we are going to provide a lot of freedom, and what is different is that one of the first cohort was made in collaboration with Polygon, and that we learned a few things about it. We learned that we want now to be independent. So we want to run our own program, but we want to have partners as well. So what does that mean? It means that we're going to run program on our own. We are going to have one accelerator program run by HyperNest, but we still are going to have some partners with us, so we can work with other chains, other protocols to help them run programs as well. So it will be like a novelty for 2025. We're going to have kind of B2B activity, let's say that. So we're going to provide support to startups in our own program, and then we're going to provide support to partners, protocols, and chains, and help them support their own startup. So it will be a new one for us. It is called the Bootcamp program, and we are really excited about it. And if we are looking at the Accelerator program itself, we are still onboarding new mentors because we learned that sometimes the space is evolving really fast. So we have to provide new mentorship, new topics. For instance, maybe working a bit on AI, on DPing. So we have to put new topics on the program to be up to date, really, because we don't want to be like the last one to do this topic.
Sure. And it seems like you guys have mentors from companies like Bancor. If people are unfamiliar with Bancor, they can go back to the episode with Mark and Jen and Chainlink. So talk to us a little bit about like the mentors you guys have in the program, what kind of support they provide.
Yeah, so maybe I will start and Alessio can provide more insight about it because he recruited a lot of our mentors. But I should say that mostly we have two kind of mentors. We have the ones that are really involved with us, really expert on a topic, and that will be with us like every time we need it. They are doing workshops, they are answering one-on-one like question with startups, and there are some other mentors that are coming sometimes from bigger names in the ecosystem that are with us because we need those kind of partnership with them. So they have the expertise, yes, obviously they are experts on their field, but most of it, they have a name because they are part of a big player in the game. And that's really important for the startup to have this kind of connection. For us, it's okay. We can have experts from small like protocols or chain. We don't mind. We are agnostic on that. But for startups, it's really important to have experts from big companies because it's going to bring them a lot of value because of their expertise, but because of the network they will have. The network is crucial on this game, you know.
Absolutely. And then talk to us a little bit about, what kind of challenges these startups are facing that you guys hope to resolve. Most listeners, actually, we have a good amount of founders and builders in the audience, but like, let's imagine somebody hasn't founded their own Web3 startup. What kind of issues do they typically run into?
Yeah, yeah. Actually, the DeFi startups mostly they need three things. First of all, they need funding, and we make sure that they get funding when they join our accelerator. This is obviously the step number one. They need funding later, so we make sure that they get funding from our 60 plus crypto VC that they collaborate with us. And second, they need liquidity. So if, as much as possible, we also collaborate with the majority of the liquidity provider out there. And so that at the beginning, they don't need to bootstrap liquidity because it can be very painful when you launch a DeFi startup. So if you don't have liquidity, well, it doesn't work. You're like a bank without cash. And the third part that it's probably the most important, it's also related to marketing and collaboration with several KOL. Because in particular in the Web3 space, we are having more an influencer marketing type of thing. There is much less of, for example, performance marketing. And these are, let's say, the three pillars where there is, let's say, the majority of the support. However, as Yann was saying, we are very flexible, and we can offer basically a lot of custom support. So if, for example, they need security, we are in partnership with Haken, with Zokyo. If they need Oracle services, of course, we have Chainlink on board, and so on and so forth. So we strive to have, in essence, all the top experts in the world to help those startups along their journey. So, for example, token economy, or we have 5 different lawyers, one focused on the US, another one more focused on Europe. This is, I think, our main strength. So providing them full support in across all these different verticals, and plus, last but not the least, they constantly have also the guidance and strategic support of our internal team. We are always for them here, and we will also be there later on after the program.
Yeah, let's just kind of walk through this. We'll call it like the life of joining the accelerator. So let's say I'm a new company. I'm going to be called Jack's Protocol, and I joined the accelerator. Talk to me a little bit about the process of getting into the accelerator, and then talk to me a little bit about the 12-week program and how you guys try to get them results.
Yeah. So actually, we changed a bit this journey quite recently. We decided to bring them first. It's what we call the bootcamp. So the bootcamp is also what we are selling to partners, but it's serving us as a waiting chamber to start knowing more the project, working with them. So it's really flexible. We are onboarding them really fast. It could be in a few weeks, a few days, even if they are really motivated. And in this bootcamp, we are just trying to give them a taste of what we can do. So give them some connection, give them a few virtual courses online they have access to, some one-on-one meeting with mentors. So yeah, a few tastes of what we can do. After that, if we feel that there is a connection, if we feel that the project has a lot of value, and if the due diligence is good on us, so we are going to invest in them, and we are going to bring them to the main accelerator program. And in this main accelerator program, they will have access to everything. So all the one-on-one with mentors, a lot of online courses again, but still they will have access to the workshops. We have every week one workshop, all year long. So it's not only a 12 weeks program, because the duration of the program is 12 weeks, but they are here with us for 6 months. What does it mean? It means that if they don't want to do the fundraising workshop in January, they will be able to do it in March or in April when they need it the most. And that's really important, because most of the accelerators, they will do the same program for every startup. It's nonsense. Every startup is different. They will not have the same needs at the same time. You can't obviously do the same program in 12 weeks for 10 or 15 startups at the same time. It's not possible. You won't help them in the best possible way. So you have to provide a more flexible program, and they have to be able to choose whenever they want to do it and whenever is the most important for them. So that's a classical journey, but every journey will be different, because one of them we have the workshop about legal in the US in January, the other one in March, because we will replicate the program every 12 weeks. So it will be like kind of complex system for us, but for the startups, it's really easy and really flexible.
Yeah, and you guys mentioned a few different verticals. It seemed like DeFi was obviously mentioned. I believe RWA at the very beginning was mentioned. Are there specific verticals you guys do focus on, where you're hey, we'll only work with these sets of startups?
Yes, so let's say the main vertical is for sure DeFi. Within DeFi, we of course also focus on real world assets. When, of course, real world assets is integrated in a decentralized financial system. In general, as a guideline, we do prefer interact with the protocols that are permissionless, if it is possible. We would like, of course, to see protocols that are bringing real innovation or new primitives in the DeFi space, and potentially that are also improving the user experience, because it's not only a matter of creating the coolest financial protocol, but it's also important that people and normies, almost normies, can use it. So this is, let's say, overall in terms of guidelines. If we want to go one level down, what we focusing on, for example, the DEXs for sure. So we've been investing in two DEXs. So we'll be investing in more. So DEXs that are bringing real innovation on the table are something that are super fascinating for us. Innovative money market. We are also very intrigued by different stablecoin. We're just scratching the surface of what is possible. I think we are in 190 billion as a overall market cap of stablecoin. I believe that we're going to hit the double in 12 months or something. So I think the pie is going to become much bigger. But at the same time, I would like to see more diversification because, as we know, there are two major players in the stablecoin space, but a lot of more experimentation, in particular after Athena, or Athena entering the space. So we have seen that it's possible to provide a lot of yield at a scale, in particular using a hybrid model that connect traditional finance and decentralized finance. So all the experimentation in that direction are for us ultra fascinating. In addition to that, also the world of derivatives is something I think the perps they're moving forward very very fast. In particular with Hyperliquid and the great success of Hyperliquid, I was impressed to say the least. But for example, there are a few protocols offering great options at scale or option strategy, like gamma strategies with the straddle option. It's super interesting to create a delta neutral strategy when you're offering liquidity. Also all the type of infrastructure that can actually provide, as I was saying before, better user experience. So abstracting the complexity of interacting with DeFi protocols, it's something that is for us super interesting. Everything that also can be, an alternative credit score, so we don't need to rely specifically on the credit score coming from bank. I think there is another ultra fascinating area. So in essence, we're looking for everything that is really a financial protocol, a foundational financial protocol that bring innovation to the space, and we're very open, to any innovation coming to us.
Absolutely. And one issue, like when people builders start a company, they don't often know where they can find these types of resources and programs. So like obviously you guys are coming on podcast to spread the word. What else are you guys doing to kind of get the word out to potential founders and developers?
I think we're lucky enough to have the majority of the startups coming to us because of referrals. So we have some of the best mentors in the world that are constantly bringing us the highest quality startups, and the same as foundation. So as Yann said, we have been collaborating with Polygon. We have MVP from Berachain that is part of our accelerator program as a mentor. We have Vlad, the head of DeFi of Ton, that it's another ultra heavy hitter. We are collaborating with Avalanche at this point in time, with Solana. So in essence, all the foundation are connected with us, and they are more than happy to bring us specific startups, because what we do is giving them the best DeFi protocols that exist in the space. And I would say this is the strongest, deal flow that we have. However, a lot of startups now, they also apply directly to our website, so we have a lot of inbound traffic. And in addition, we try to be present in different events all over the world. In fact, I'm still in Thailand for DevCon
Nice.
the Jalo event.
Well, inbound is definitely the best traffic. So talk to us a little bit about like the stage of startup that comes. Is this like pre-seed, seed? When are you kind of getting in touch? Like when's best for a startup to be in touch with you guys?
Do you want to take that, Yann?
Yeah. Let's say it will depend a bit on what we want to do with the startup, because most of the time we want to accelerate them and invest in them. Like we said, we are an accelerator and investment at the same time. But we can also sometimes just invest if we really believe in the project. It's pretty rare, but we can do that for a small amount of projects. But let's say that most of the time we are trying to have them pre-TGE, obviously, because it's more interesting for us, but not far enough, not so far from the TGE, because the risk is lower for us if it's close to the TGE. So yeah, the token launch must be not far away, and they must have some partnership already existing, like maybe with DEXs or exchanges in the place, because yeah, we want to have some maybe certainty about the launch of the tokens for obvious reasons, because it's part of our business model actually. So we are a DeFi startup, let's say, ourselves, acting like an accelerator. So we have to uh, validate the fact they will launch a token if we want to work with them. So there is not specifically a phase, because we know they are going to pivot a lot sometime. So it could be seed or pre-seed. Sometimes they raise some money already before because of the project. But if the token is not launched yet, it's better for us.
Yeah.
Got it. So talk to us a little bit about like how you guys help these, because we talked about it. There's liquidity, there's essentially marketing. Talk to us about how you help them with the like individual tasks when they come and join, because it seems like they're joining for like three core reasons.
Well, at the beginning, then Yann, tell me if you want to add anything. So at the beginning, I think that the core part, it's really understanding what they need. As Yann was saying, Yann is doing a wonderful job in creating the highest value creation program, but with the highest flexibility for startups, because founders are busy. They don't want to be always with you in all the workshop and so on and so forth. That's what we have done in the past. We've done a bunch of millions of workshops, but they also feel overwhelmed. So we design a custom path for them. We constantly do workshop all the time. They have one-on-one with all our startups, our mentors. They have a constant connection with the previous startups that are in our accelerator, also to create this magical bond between them, and they have full access to our specific team. But we want to make this as valuable as possible, as timely as possible for them. Therefore, at the beginning, we create a path, a specific journey with specific milestone, and every week, maximum every 2 weeks, we try to understand if we are aligned with their objectives, that we are delivering according to their specific objectives. And we are, of course, also willing to create specific opportunities for them. So, for example, one of our startups still very, very DeFi focused, but you also have called Oneshat, launching on Better Chain right now. Very, very DeFi focused, but also very strong focus on social. So in essence, there are a lot of creator. This creator has specific key, but this key can be shorted. Therefore, this creates very, very interesting financial dynamics that for us was very fascinating. But because of their specific focus on social, we got on board, for example, specialists from Facebook to support them, to make sure that they also could have got the best guidance in that specific direction. So not only we focus on a custom journey, we focus on providing the resources in a timely manner, but we're also happy to adjust a little bit our program to bring on board additional expert if it is needed.
Got it. And finally, you guys mentioned some milestones, like some cohorts you have coming up. Tell us a little bit about like the milestones that people can look forward to, and then finally where to find you guys online.
Okay, do you mean where do we want to bring them during this program? That's it, yeah?
Well, more like where can people, like, so milestones being like, hey, what do you guys have launching? Do you have a cohort coming up? Any kind of changes you're going to be making? And then where to find you online is like, what's the website? What's your Twitter?
Okay, so yeah, the next milestone should be in 2025 Q1. We're going to launch the new version of the program officially. So with the workshop starting in the mid-January with some old mentors, some new mentors. So startups will have access to like a really new version of the program. They will still have access to all the recorded session we had before, but we will record new session for them with a new program starting in January. And we are also launching, right now we are in discussion with a lot of partners, like the bootcamp program for partners. So how can we help people in the space, like not only startups, but chains and protocols to support their own startups? For instance, we are trying to boost some grants programs they have. A lot of protocols are launching grants programs, or they're giving free money to startups to launch projects on their protocols. But at the end, it's not really efficient because they are not supporting them a lot. They're just giving money. Like, okay, take this money and do whatever you want with it. But we are going to provide them with a specific support like we did for our own startup. So it's going to bring a lot more value to them during the coming weeks.
Yeah, well, let me just first say, if anyone's willing to give out some free money, they can send it here as long as there's no stipulations. I'm totally fine to accept all this kind of money. But Alessio and Yann, you've been so nice joining us here. Tell us where they can learn more about HyperNest online, and then finally where they can find you two. Shout out any Twitters, any LinkedIns that you want people to connect with you on.
Yeah, we're mostly active on X, so Twitter and YouTube as well. We are launching a lot of videos right now with partners as well. And we have a website, obviously, which is the main portal to do an application if you want to. And we also have LinkedIn as well, because we are building some connection with the Web2 space as well. So it's important to be on LinkedIn as well.
Yeah, the website is hypernest.xyz. And on X, we are HyperNest DAO, because we are a decentralized autonomous organization. I think they can find us also on LinkedIn and Twitter and on YouTube with the HyperNest or HyperNest DAO.
Perfect. Well, everyone go get engaged with Alessio, go get engaged with Yann, and definitely go check out HyperNest, especially if you are building a startup. And if you're interested in building one, definitely get in touch with them as well. So until the next episode, let's continue building the future of Web3.